Welcome to my channel. Value Old Coins Today. Videos is one you won't miss. We're diving into the world of coins, so let's get it started. The 1993 United States 1-cent coin, more commonly known as the Lincoln cent or simply a penny, holds a distinguished place in American numismatic history as part of a series that has been in continuous production since 1909. This particular edition, struck in the year 1993, continues the design legacy initiated by President Theodore Roosevelt's call to beautify American coinage in the early 20th century and remains one of the most widely recognized and circulated coins in the United States. Bearing the obverse image of Abraham Lincoln, the nation's revered 16th president, the Lincoln cent was originally introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. The obverse design, which first appeared on the 1909 Lincoln wheat cent, designed by Victor David Brenner, is among the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history, although the reverse design has changed over the decades. With the Lincoln Memorial reverse introduced in 1859, the obverse portrait has remained essentially the same, symbolizing the enduring legacy of Lincoln's leadership during one of the most pivotal eras in American history, namely, the Civil War. The 1993 Lincoln cent's obverse continues to feature the right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln, as originally engraved by Victor D. Brenner, albeit with minor modifications and refinements over the years for clarity and detail enhancement due to modern minting technology. The portrait is accompanied by the national motto, "In God We Trust," inscribed prominently along the upper periphery of the coin, arching gracefully above Lincoln's head. To the left of the portrait appears the word liberty, a word chosen not only as a tribute to the country's foundational ideals, but also as a symbol of Lincoln's role as the great emancipator. To the right of Lincoln's profile is the date of issue, 1993, clearly struck and positioned slightly above the shoulder of the bust. Below the date, depending on the mint of origin, a small mint mark may be present. For 1993, coins were primarily produced at the Philadelphia No Mint Mark and Denver D. Mint Mark mints. Notably, the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally omitted a mint mark on 1-cent coins until 2017, produced a substantial portion of the year's mintage, turning the coin over to its reverse side. The Lincoln Memorial reverse design, introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, remains in use on the 1993 penny. The design features a detailed rendering of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., as conceived by engraver Frank Guest. The neoclassical structure is depicted with precise attention to its iconic columns and central statue of Lincoln, visible within the monument on well-struck examples. Arched across the top of the reverse field is the national legend United States of America, affirming the coin's origin. Below this inscription, the Latin motto E pluribus unum appears, translating to out of many, one, a traditional phrase symbolizing the unity of the states into a single nation. At the bottom of the coin, following the curve of the rim, is the denomination declaration, 1 cent, positioned in bold, clear lettering. This arrangement of inscriptions and imagery on both sides of the coin reflects a balance of artistic elegance and patriotic symbolism. In terms of mintage and composition, the 1993 Lincoln cent continued the use of the copper-plated zinc planchette, introduced in 1982. As a cost-saving measure, when the rising price of copper made the previous 95% copper composition economically unfeasible, the coin is composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, with the outer copper plating giving the coin its familiar reddish-brown appearance while the zinc core provides structural integrity. The mass of the coin remains at 2.5 grams, and it measures 19.05 millimeters (0.75 inches) in diameter, with a plain, smooth edge. The total mintage for the 1993 Lincoln cent was substantial, reflecting its status as a high-demand denomination, essential for commerce and daily transactions. The Philadelphia Mint struck approximately 5.6 billion coins, while the Denver Mint produced over 6.4 billion coins, combining for a total of over 12 billion pennies produced in 1993 alone. While the 1993 Lincoln cent is generally considered common in circulated condition due to its high mintage, it holds appeal for collectors in higher grades, particularly those seeking pristine uncirculated specimens or coins with full red road luster, as designated by professional coin grading services. Coins graded MS65 or higher are especially desirable, and those with notable die errors, such as double dies, off-center strikes, or clipped planchets, can command premium prices in the numismatic market. Collectors also sometimes seek proof versions produced at the San Francisco Mint, bearing an S mint mark, although regular proof issues for the cent were not part of general circulation. The 1993 Lincoln cent's historical context places it within the presidency of Bill Clinton, who had just begun his first term in office. Economically, the early 1990s were a period of recovery following a recession, and politically, the United States was adjusting to the post-Cold War world order. Domestically, conversations about healthcare reform, technology growth, and globalization were beginning to take shape. The penny of 1993, therefore, circulated in a transitional era, one bridging the end of the 20th century's industrial age with the rise of the digital age. Despite increasing calls for the elimination of the cent denomination due to production costs exceeding face value, the penny retained its place as a fixture in American commerce, sentimentally associated with phrases like "a penny for your thoughts" and "find a penny, pick it up." In summary, the 1993 United States 1-cent coin embodies more than mere monetary value. It reflects the artistic, historical, and cultural dimensions of American society. From its enduring obverse image of Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of unity, emancipation, and leadership, to its detailed depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, a site of national memory and civil rights milestones, the coin serves as a miniature canvas of American ideals. Its composition change, large-scale production, and continuous presence in everyday transactions underscore its role in both economic and symbolic realms. For collectors, historians, and casual observers alike, the 1993 Lincoln cent remains a tangible link to the nation's past and a testament to the longevity of traditional coinage in a rapidly changing world. The 1978 United States 1-cent coin, widely known as the Lincoln cent or the Lincoln penny, occupies a particularly interesting position in the grand tapestry of American numismatic history. As part of a lineage that traces back to 1909, when President Theodore Roosevelt sought to transform American coinage into artistic works reflecting the nation's character and values. The Lincoln cent represents one of the most enduring designs in U.S. mint history. The obverse of the 1978 cent showcases the unmistakable and time-honored image of Abraham Lincoln, the nation's 16th president, famed for his leadership during the Civil War and his tireless fight to preserve the Union and abolish slavery. First engraved by Victor David Brenner for the centennial of Lincoln's birth, the obverse design of Lincoln's right-facing profile has remained in continuous use on the penny for well over a century. On the 1978 cent, the obverse portrait is flanked on the left side by the word Liberty, representing the core American ideal upon which the nation was founded and which Lincoln so fervently championed. To the right of Lincoln's bust appears the date of issue, 1978, denoting the year of minting. Beneath the date, a mint mark may be present, with the D for the Denver Mint or no mint mark indicating mintage at the Philadelphia Mint, as the San Francisco Mint had ceased regular circulation. Strike pennies by this period. Above Lincoln's image, arching elegantly along the rim, appears the national motto, "In God We Trust," a phrase first introduced on U.S. coinage during the Civil War and made mandatory on all U.S. currency following an act of Congress in 1955. Turning to the reverse side, the 1978 Lincoln cent retains the Lincoln Memorial reverse, which had replaced the original wheat ears reverse in 1959 in honor of the sesquicentennial of Lincoln's birth. Designed by Frank Gasparow, who served as chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, the reverse features a finely detailed depiction of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. This neoclassical monument, completed in 1922 and modeled after ancient Greek temples, honors Lincoln's memory and stands as a symbol of national unity and reverence for democratic ideals. On the coin, the memorial is portrayed with notable architectural precision, including its iconic columns, steps, and central chamber, which, when examined closely on a well-struck specimen, reveals a minuscule representation of the seated Lincoln statue visible between the central columns, a unique feature seldom found in everyday circulating coinage. Arching around the top of the reverse is the inscription United States of America, asserting the national identity of the currency. Below it, and above the depiction of the memorial, is the enduring Latin motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, reflecting the unity of the diverse states comprising the American Republic. At the base of the reverse design, in bold, clear typeface, is the denomination, 1 cent, affirming the coin's face value. In terms of composition and physical specifications, the 1978 Lincoln cent is a direct continuation of the traditional bronze formulation that had characterized the coin for much of its history since 1909. Specifically, it was struck from an alloy of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it a characteristic reddish-brown appearance that could deepen into a rich chocolate hue over time due to natural oxidation in circulation. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, 0.75 inches, with a plain, smooth edge devoid of any reading or lettering. This was among the final years for this predominantly copper composition, as rising copper prices in the late 1970s and early 1980s would soon prompt a change in metallic content. In 1982, the mint transitioned to a copper-plated zinc plant to economize production costs. As for mintage figures, The 1978 Lincoln cent was produced in vast quantities to meet the coinage demands of a growing U.S. economy marked by inflation and an increase in transactional coin usage. The Philadelphia Mint, which did not mark 1-cent coins with a mint mark at the time, struck approximately 5,558,605,000 pennies. The Denver Mint, identified by a small D mint mark located just beneath the date on the obverse, produced a comparable total of 4,280,233,400 coins. No circulation strike Lincoln cents were minted at the San Francisco Mint in 1978, though it did produce a limited quantity of proof coins for collector sets, each bearing an S mint mark and struck with specially prepared dies to produce sharp detail and mirrored fields. The historical context of the 1978 penny situates it within the presidency of Jimmy Carter, a period characterized by economic challenges, including high inflation, energy shortages, and significant social change. The United States, still adjusting in the post-Vietnam and post-Watergate era, faced shifting dynamics both domestically and on the world stage, including increasing tensions in the Middle East and challenges in Cold War diplomacy. On the economic front, inflationary pressures caused the value of materials like copper to rise, directly impacting the mint's considerations regarding the cent's composition. Although the 1978 cent retained the traditional bronze alloy, discussions within the U.S. Treasury in mint about cost-saving measures would soon accelerate, resulting in significant alterations just a few years later. For coin collectors and numismatists, the 1978 Lincoln cent is generally considered a common date, given its high mintage and wide circulation. However, coins in exceptional condition, particularly those graded mint state 65 MS65, red road or higher by third-party grading services such as PCGS and NGC, command modest premiums. The key to value lies in the coin's color designation, with red road examples retaining nearly full original mint luster and being notably scarcer than their red-brown RB and brown BN counterparts due to the tendency of copper to tone over time. Additionally, sharp-eyed collectors prize any varieties or errors from the 1978 issue, while no major varieties like double dies or significant die breaks are widely recorded for this year. Minor die clashes, off-center strikes, and small planchette anomalies occasionally surface in the collector market, adding interest for error enthusiasts. The 1978 Lincoln cent also holds significance as one of the final full production years of the 95% copper composition, as the rising cost of copper would soon make the coin's intrinsic value approach or even exceed its face value. Consequently, it belongs to a broader narrative of American monetary history where economic forces necessitated adjustments to coinage metals, a trend that began with the removal of silver from circulating coinage in 1965 and would continue into the 1980s. The penny's survival amidst debates over its cost-effectiveness and necessity reflects enduring public sentiment and attachment to the denomination, as well as the symbolic weight carried by Abraham Lincoln's image. In conclusion, the 1978 United States Lincoln cent is more than a humble coin. It is a tangible artifact of American culture, history, and economy. From its dignified portrayal of Abraham Lincoln, a figure synonymous with equality, perseverance, and national unity, to its representation of architectural and symbolic ideals in the Lincoln Memorial reverse, the 1978 penny encapsulates layers of meaning in its modest size. Its survival through the economic turbulence of the late 1970s, its placement in countless transactions and collections, and its role as one of the final representatives of the classic bronze cent make it a noteworthy issue in U.S. history for collectors, historians, and everyday citizens alike. The 1978 Lincoln cent remains a pocket-sized connection to the values, challenges, and transitions of an era.